Hey everybody, it's Laura, and today we're going to make scrappy paper tulips. So you need some paper. Double-sided is great. You want pattern or color on both sides of your paper, not just one. And you want a little oval shape that you cut like a third of the way up in the middle. Cut out a bunch of those shapes, and you're going to want to cut that a third of the way up, fold it over, and glue it in place. I'm using hot glue because it dries faster and it'll hold together a little bit better for me in the long run. Now you can use a paper stem, you can use a pen, you can use whatever your like pencil, or just not have a stem at all and instead just stick it to something. But I'm using a little rolled up piece of paper, and because my paper is so thick, it doesn't roll completely evenly, and that's okay. It's not going to hurt anything. Just roll that the whole way up and stick a little bit of glue at the end to hold it in place. And then you're going to want to trim the ends of this to make them even because they are kind of pointy at the end. Now if you had a paper straw, this would work with a paper straw too. You just need to be able to cut through it a little bit. Or you'd have to pack the end with something to make it gluable. What you're going to do is cut 4 slits at the poles, I don't know, top, left, right, bottom, and then fold those over to make kind of a flat surface. That's going to help you glue the top of your tulip down. I also made some leaves. I kind of hate the leaves I made. Sometimes you make leaves and they're great, and sometimes you make leaves and they're way too big. The leaves I made were way too big. They should have been like half the width that they were to work for this. So either make leaves or don't, but you don't have to. And if you do make them much smaller. But they're cute leaves, they're great. You want them folded in half so that they have like that stem running up the center. And you want to roll them a little bit so that it looks like they're curving away from the stem. That being said, none of that is accomplished with mine because my leaves are just too big. But that's okay. Sometimes crafts end up working really well for you and sometimes they don't. And either way, you end up with some knowledge at the end, and my knowledge is make those leaves a little bit smaller, Laura. So you have a bunch of petals. I have an extra one I cut just in case. And what you're going to do is start gluing those petals together. They sit inside each other. And you just glue one to the next, and then the next, and the next until you have all 5 glued together, and you stick a little extra glue between the first one and the 5th one so that they stick together real nice. And if you have these and you think they look a little sparse, you can make smaller petals and cut another 5 of those and stick them all inside each other, and then stick all of them inside this. And that makes a double tulip, which is also really cool. I actually prefer those in appearance when grown in a garden, so maybe that's something you want to do. So all glued together, give that extra little bit of reinforcement there, and then you can start sticking it to your stem. That is why we cut that section of the stem to make it flat, so that we can like put a bunch of glue on the bottom of the tulip and then just stick that down. And I stuck a bunch of extra glue around here so that it was really firmly placed, because you don't want the flower to fall off the stem. Then you're going to glue your leaves on. Again, these leaves are huge. You'll see they wrap almost the whole way around my stem. You don't want that. It means they can't fold away from your stem the way that we did. But they turned out okay anyway. And there's our tulip.